Yo, what is up, guys? Your boy Zakage here with part 3 of What If Naruto was the reincarnation of Lord Beerus. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and let's begin. Last time we left off with Naruto along with Sasuke and Sakura being assigned to Team 7, with their sensei being Kakashi, of course. After scattering into the bushes, Sasuke and Sakura met up as they planned before the test and started devising a way to get the bells from Kakashi. Let's switch to Naruto, who has just been waiting to see what his teammates had up their sleeves. While waiting, he would occasionally throw kunai he had picked up just before the test towards Kakashi to keep him on his feet. Kakashi just thought, "You're as relentless as ever, sensei." And for those who have forgotten, Kakashi actually trained Naruto, but this soon switched to Kakashi being trained by Naruto. So he's a bit stronger than Canon Kakashi. I would say he's would be able to defeat Haku pretty easily. And the reason I say Haku and not Zabuza because Zabuza admitted to being weaker than Haku. So to Sasuke and Sakura, they began to put their plan into motion, and Kakashi, who wasn't reading the great Ichi Ichi Paradise, was on guard because he didn't want to take this test lightly, especially with his sensei coming after him. Kakashi stood there waiting for a minute. Sasuke and Sakura, who were watching his every move, waiting for a time to strike when he had his guard down. Then the moment came. It was a hot day and Kakashi began to sweat. Some of his sweat began rolling down his forehead and he reached up to wipe it. And as he did, 5 kunai began rushing towards him. He dodged 2 and parried the other 3 with his own kunai. Then the kunai burst into smoke, revealing a clone, but not a shadow clone, just a regular graduation exam clone. The clones then threw 2 kunais at Kakashi. Now 10 kunais were going towards him at barely visible speeds from all directions. Kakashi was impressed, but such a simple move wouldn't work on him. Kakashi then used a move he sorta copied from Naruto. When Naruto was practicing ki control with Beerus, he would release a lot of ki from his body, like shockwaves. Kakashi, reviewing this with his Sharingan, put his own spin on it. As the kunai near Kakashi, he released some of his chakra from all over his body from his chakra points. Released a burst of chakra, causing the kunais to drop from the air. Sort of like the Hyuga's rotation without any rotation. Kakashi doing this then sends someone trying to grab the bells. To his surprise, it was actually Sakura, but she was still same old useless Sakura, so he chopped her on the neck, knocking her out. Then from behind him, a fireball jutsu was heading his way. Kakashi then countered and overpowered this fireball with one of his own, scorching the side of Sasuke's left arm. Sasuke and Kakashi then got into a taijutsu bout, but Kakashi was easily taking on Sasuke. Sasuke, not being aware of his surroundings, accidentally stepped on the rope that dragged him up on the tree, similar to Naruto and Canon, leaving him hanging head down. Kakashi then patted Sasuke on the head, treating him like a child, which angered Sasuke. Naruto, who was starting to get sleepy, decided to get in on this. He blitzed behind Kakashi, about to neck chop him, but he quickly ducked under the neck chop. "Oh, Kakashi, I see you have improved greatly from the last time we sparred." "Yeah, you better not underestimate me, sensei." Kakashi then tried sweeping Naruto's legs. Kakashi then tried swiping at Naruto's legs, which he just floated over and kicked Kakashi in the chest, causing him to fly back a few feet, but he landed on his feet. Also, quick side note, if you don't remember, Hiruzen limited Naruto to only use 1% of his power while on Team 7. Naruto can decide to follow this or not, but right now he's only going 1%. So Kakashi brought out his Sharingan, then began charging up his Chidori. He then dashed at Naruto at speeds that Sasuke, who was still hanging, and Sakura, who began waking up, couldn't perceive. Sasuke stared in awe at this jutsu, believing he'll finally get to see the downfall of Naruto. Naruto, seeing Sasuke's expression, decided to show off a little. Naruto then went up to 10%, and as Kakashi tried to shove the Chidori into his shoulder, with one finger, Naruto stopped the jutsu and flicked Kakashi into a tree, knocking him out. Sasuke and Sakura's jaw just dropped seeing this. After 5 minutes, Kakashi woke up to his team eating while he was tied up to the pole. Well, team, seems like you've passed. It was supposed to be a teamwork exercise, but I guess I can let this one slide. And as Kakashi was leaving the training ground, Sasuke actually approached him. Kakashi-sensei, train me right now, for I'm an Uchiha, and I should be strong. Kakashi looked at Sasuke and said, really, you want to be strong? Well, why don't you train with my master? He's far above my power. Sasuke's eyes lit up for the first time ever since the massacre. The thought of someone being way above Kakashi was too enticing. Sasuke then said, well, where is he? Kakashi replied, the funny part is you've already met him. Sasuke obviously looked confused and began sifting through his memories, trying to look for someone who may have been Kakashi's master. Kakashi then brought him out of his thoughts and said, you don't have to think too hard about it, I'll just tell you who it is. His name is Naruto Uzumaki. I've known him since he was 4, and by the way, Naruto is 15 now. Yes, all the characters are aged up by only 2 years. Sasuke looked dumbfounded at Kakashi. While Sasuke is having his mental evaluation on the meaning of life, let's switch to Naruto's perspective. Naruto had begun walking home and he was approached by one of his teammates, Sakura. He was obviously confused because Sakura always hated him for reasons he didn't know. Sakura then began to speak. Naruto, I know I've treated... Why does that sound like Hinata? Naruto, Bro, I can't do girl voices. Naruto, this doesn't sound good. Alright, here it is. Naruto, I know I haven't treated you the greatest, but you're really strong, and I can admit that, so please, can you train me? And she bowed to him. And Naruto then replied, I already have a pupil, so why should I take on another? Well, I realize Sasuke likes power and powerful people, so maybe if I get strong enough, he'll finally acknowledge me. Naruto then stopped and says, you see, Sakura, that's your biggest problem. Sasuke this, Sasuke that, you need to start thinking about yourself. What if you're on a mission one day and a swordsman attacks you and your precious Sasuke-kun isn't there to protect you? Exactly, you'll be dead. You're just loose weight to this team. When you get a real purpose to train, come back to me. Naruto then disappeared, leaving Sakura frozen as she tried processing everything. So while Sakura is having her life flipped on its head, so after Naruto left Sakura, he headed home, but as he laid down on his bed, he got a weird sense of deja vu. Then a knock was heard at his door. Naruto just cursed his life and says, why can't I just sleep for 1 millennium? That's all I ask. And Naruto had to get up from his comfortable position after just getting in it. So he answers the door and sees Sasuke. He then asks, why are you here? Well, Naruto, please train me. I have a certain person to kill, and I have to avenge my clan, and to do that I need to be powerful. Naruto then stares at Sasuke then says, who, Itachi? Sasuke's eyes then widened and said, how do you know about my brother? Don't worry about that. I see a lot of promise in you, yet a lot of hatred, Sasuke. Stop thinking about avenging your clan for a second, and think about rebuilding it. Are you really going to let your clan turn out to be like mine, so powerful that they get wiped out, especially by one person? I'll train you, but just know it'll be so bad you'd wish it thought you took your life that day. Okay, that that might have been a bit too far, but yeah. Naruto just left Sasuke at the door, closing the door in his face. And the next morning, Naruto got another knock at his door. He's like, starting to get sick and tired of these knocks. He then goes and sees Sasuke and Sakura at his door. They both, get on the ground bowing, like, please, please train me. Yada yada yada. Sakura is like, I don't want to just do it for Sasuke. I want to become powerful, to develop my clan. Because Sakura's clan, they're not even a clan, it's just a last name, to be honest. Harunos aren't really known for anything, and we don't know any other Haruno than Sakura. I guess you could say they have above average chakra control, but that's really it. So they go to the training ground and Naruto begins training them. He uses a technique he developed with Beerus, using his ki to mold a perfect replica of himself. And those clones began training Sasuke and Sakura. After a while, Kakashi shows up. He was going to give them some D-rank missions, but decides to train with them. While his 3 clones were training Sasuke, Sakura, and Kakashi, the original Naruto goes to the Yamanaka flower shop. He talks to Ino for a while, then after she finishes, running the shop, she leaves with Naruto, and their parents were just watching from the crack of the door, giggling like 5-year-olds. Then Naruto actually personally trains Ino. He doesn't want to have, a weak girlfriend. And right now, they have feelings for each other, but Naruto doesn't want to admit it because, because of his god complex. So this is going on for around a month, and Sasuke and Sakura have gotten immensely stronger. I wouldn't say they're Shippuden level yet, they're halfway there. And Sakura doesn't know medical ninjutsu. Ino has gotten way stronger. Naruto actually gave her some of his ki, but similar to how Naruto's chakra converts into ki, for Ino, the ki converted into chakra, giving her literally Shippuden level chakra reserves and Tsunade level strength. And she's proficient in her clan jutsus and some other jutsu. So after a month of training, Sasuke, Sakura, and Kakashi wanted to test their newfound skills. They asked Hiruzen, who pretty easily, like without any arguments they were expecting, he gave them a A-rank mission to liberate the land of waves and to escort Tazuna as usual, because the Hidden Leaf wants to expand and grow their land. So what better way to do it than have good relations with your neighboring communities, I guess. Yeah, they just want to make the village bigger, basically. So the next day they meet up at the gates, and since this is the first time Naruto would be leaving Ino for a good while, she actually met him at the gate and gives him a kiss to see him off. Naruto was blushing and Ino just began laughing, because it was just funny to see a person who acted as a god all the time show some humanity. And off they went. As usual, the Demon Brothers show up and everyone in Team 7 knew it was a jutsu. And as the 2 brothers jumped out, 2 Chidoris got shoved into one's shoulder and the other into his heart. Before this happened, Kakashi had enough time to reveal his Sharingan, and Sasuke activated his one Tomoe. Wait, don't you have to have 2 Tomoe to use the Chidori? He has 2 in one eye and 1 in the other. Yeah, that. Sakura was a bit bummed out because she didn't really get to do anything, and Naruto began scolding Sasuke like he was his mother or something, because he shoved the Chidori through the Demon Brother's chest. He may have had valuable information, but luckily Kakashi had some sense and left his alive. They tortured him a bit, got some information about Zabuza, and further down the path to the lands of waves, a sword came flying overhead. Sakura then smirked as this was finally her chance to show her power and to not only impress Sasuke but to show her strength to Naruto because she was his pupil and she wanted to show him how far she's come. She then began infusing chakra into her hand and caught the sword but a bit clumsily. She sprained her wrist but started playing it off. She looked back to see Sasuke mouthing not bad and Naruto giving her a thumbs up. No, she really almost began crying because if you look at it from her perspective, she came from being only book smart, not even being able to aim a kunai, to catching this hellish, this really massive sword. And her family is in this one. Her family is kind of poor, so Sakura also wanted to help her family out. So Zabuza jumps down, goes on his long monologue, then gets a kick in the chest from Sakura. He had his guard down because Sakura didn't look all that threatening. After getting the wind knocked out of him, Zabuza began using a bunch of his water jutsu and Sakura was just dodging. Then Zabuza used his water dragon jutsu and Sakura finally used a jutsu of her own, a mud wall, blocking the water style jutsu. And since Sakura doesn't have a lot of chakra reserves, she had sprained her wrist, she had her guard down, like she wasn't focusing completely, and got a kick from behind from Zabuza. But to Zabuza's surprise, she actually had enough time to turn around and block the kick with the kunai. But from the strength of the kick, she still flew into the wall. Sakura got the wind knocked out of her, but she was still standing. Sasuke, seeing this, then got a bit enraged because he had slight feelings for Sakura. Sasuke then unlocked 2 tomoes in his eyes and dashed towards Zabuza, plunging a Chidori through his chest, but Zabuza turned into water, a water clone. Then from below the water, hands tried grabbing his feet, but Sasuke coated his hand in lightning, slapping the surface of the water, causing Zabuza to be electrocuted. So he was about to take the final blow, but Haku appears and says he's a tracking ninja, yada yada yada, and Kakashi immediately doesn't believe it, but doesn't says anything like canon. Naruto doesn't believe it either, but he could care less. And Sasuke ran over to Sakura, who was passed out from exhaustion, and carried her all the way to Tazuna's house. At the house, he put her to rest, and the rest of the team had dinner. The next morning at breakfast, Sakura came downstairs because she had woken up, and Sasuke ran over to her, hugging her, saying, "Oh, I'm so happy, I was thinking of the worst case scenario." He was just glad to see her. Then Sasuke realized what he was actually doing and just put Sakura down because when he went to hug her, he lifted her up off the ground. So he puts her down and goes back to finish his breakfast. And Naruto was just smirking and poking an elbow into his side. He began blushing, then Sakura took a seat and was also blushing, as well as surprised because Sasuke had never showed this much emotion. Skip to the fight on the bridge, and the infamous mist rolls in, and everyone already knows who this is. Haku and Zabuza appear, and Haku challenges Sasuke. Sasuke and Sakura began fighting Haku while Kakashi was fighting Zabuza, while Naruto was staying a bit behind. Pretty easily, Sasuke and Sakura defeat Haku, and Kakashi defeats Zabuza. But their mission wasn't over yet because Gato's men showed up at the bridge. And Naruto decided, he hasn't done much on this mission, so this one is his. Sasuke and Sakura, they know of Naruto's strength, but they didn't think he could take out everyone. well, at least take out everyone in one go because he said he was just gonna take them out quickly. Naruto just opened his hand towards the group of bandits and released a small ki blast, just annihilating everyone on the bridge in one go, even Gato. All the villagers who came to fight witnessed this and they were all cheering, they were all celebrating and stuff like that. So there was a mission success. They began heading back to the village and Naruto noticed that Sasuke and Sakura had began getting a lot more friendly since that incident at breakfast. As they arrive at the village, Ino was actually waiting on Naruto because she knew he wouldn't go for long. They've only been gone for 3 days. As they arrived, he got a hug from behind, and it was Ino. He was happy, and she kissed him again. This time Naruto wasn't as flustered, and then they went and had some restaurant food. I don't know, Ichiraku ramen. So after they had, their Ichiraku ramen, best food in the village, Naruto walked Ino home. And as Ino was going, she decided to ask Naruto a question. Hey, Naruto, don't you want to... Wait, girl voice. Wait, Naruto, don't you want to, meet my parents? Naruto didn't really think of this, and he just said, yeah, sure. He goes in with Ino, and as soon as Ino's parents sees Naruto, they already know who this guy is. They're like, oh, Ino, you brought... Who's this you brought over? It's like, oh, this is the... yeah, girl voice. This is the guy who I was telling you about. They're like, oh, so this is your boyfriend? She begins blushing, and Naruto was just, chilling. He's like, I guess. It's like, and then Ino's father comes up. Oh, nice to meet you, young man, and just starts shaking his hand. He's like, a firm handshake. I like that. And and immediately Ino's father and Naruto hit it off because they're like both chill, So after their millions of questions to Naruto, Ino's dad is just like, you know what, kid, I like you. I don't know where the accent came from, but yeah, he's just like, you know what, kid, I like you. I like you, kid. He's like, I like you too. Wait, not like that. No. But yeah, it's just like, yeah, we give you permission. You can be with our daughter. Naruto's just like, I didn't really need your permission. I would have been with her anyways, but okay. So yeah, boys, in the next part, I'm gonna do the Konoha Crush and tuning exams. That's about to be lit. Yeah, thank you guys for sticking to the end of the video. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next What If.